Have you ever wondered why some Wall Street investors manage to multiply their fortunes while most people struggle to get out of debt? What do they know that you don't? What if I told you that these secrets, used by the biggest millionaires in the world, are not modern inventions, but ancient teachings that have been in the Bible for centuries? Very few people know this hidden code to create wealth, but today I will expose these forbidden truths so that you too can apply them and transform your financial life. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal a specific biblical principle that Wall Street silently applies to generate fortunes, and that could be the missing piece to unlock your prosperity. If you think that getting rich is only for those who were born rich, get ready to completely change your vision. The truth is that the Bible has always taught about money, investments, and multiplying wealth. However, over the centuries, this knowledge was distorted, hidden, and discredited. But those who really understand how money works and apply these principles achieve extraordinary results. Solomon, for example, was the richest man in history, and his empire was not built for nothing. He followed a clear strategy recorded in Proverbs and Ecclesiastes that many of today's most successful investors use without you even realizing it. And don't think this is just theory. Ordinary people have already applied these teachings and changed their lives. I know the story of a businessman who, by following one of the principles I'm going to reveal here, managed to get out of debt and build $1 million asset in just a few years. This proves that it's not luck, it's not coincidence, it's strategy based on ancient wisdom. Now pay attention, what I'm about to share may completely change the way you deal with money. But before continuing, subscribe to the channel, because here I show you how to apply principles that unlock your prosperity. Most people work hard, save every penny possible, avoid unnecessary expenses, and yet always seem to be one step behind financially. Maybe this is your case. You've already done everything to prosper. You've followed advice, cut expenses, tried to increase your income, but at the end of the month, the balance in your account remains tight. Money never seems enough, and dreams of financial independence seem increasingly distant. But here's the truth no one tells you. It's not how much you earn that makes the difference. It's what you do with what you earn. And this is exactly where the secret that Wall Street investors know and apply comes in, a principle that was not invented in recent years, but was already recorded in the Bible centuries ago. While many work just to survive, great investors work to multiply what they have. And the question you need to ask yourself now is, are you multiplying or just holding on to what you have, afraid of losing it? The truth is that most people do. What the fearful servant in the parable of the talents did, they saved their money unproductively, hoping that one day something miraculous will happen. But the rich, the real investors, follow the path of the servants who multiplied their talents. They understand that money stopped is money lost. They apply, invest, create new sources of income, and transform every dollar into a seed of growth. And if you think this is just theory, let me tell you a real story. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, a man who built $1 billion fortune from scratch, follows exactly this principle. From a young age, he understood that money needs to be put to work. He don't let your capital sit idle. He seeks opportunities, reinvests profits, diversifies assets, and do what the wise servants in the parable did, multiply. And do you know what the result is? While many live trapped in a cycle of scarcity, it continues to grow, expand, and accumulate wealth. But don't think that this concept was born only in the 20th century. Long before Warren Buffett, another great strategist used this principle and prospered immensely. Joseph of Egypt, one of the greatest administrators in history, applied exactly this logic. When he interpreted Pharaoh's dream about 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of scarcity, he did not advise keeping everything passively. He created a resource management system where part of the harvest was reserved for multiplication, ensuring that Egypt not only survived the crisis, but emerged from it even stronger. Now look around you. What are billionaires and big investors doing today? They are multiplying. They are not simply keeping money in the bank. They understand that money is a flow, that it needs to circulate, that it must be invested wisely. Wall Street learned this secret a long time ago, but you've been conditioned to believe that the only way to get rich is to work harder and save as much as possible. And that's exactly what keeps you stagnant. Have you ever noticed how some people, even though they earn less than you, manage to grow financially while you remain in the same place? This happens because they understand the game. They stopped being just accumulators of money and started being multipliers of resources. And now comes the most important part. You can apply this principle to your life today. It doesn't matter how much you earn now. It doesn't matter what your current situation is. What matters is what you do with this information from now on. Will you be like the servant who buried his talent and lost it all, or like the one who multiplied and was rewarded with even more? The modern financial market may seem like a complex world, full of graphs, numbers, and difficult terms, but the truth is that the fundamentals of financial prosperity have always been the same. And guess what? They were written in the Bible long before Wall Street existed. The concept of multiplication, reinvestment, and intelligent management of resources. It is present in several passages, but few people realize it. Let's talk about one of the oldest and most powerful principles when it comes to sustainable financial growth: reinvestment. Today, great investors and business people know that an essential part of their profits should not be used for immediate consumption, but rather strategically reallocated to generate even more wealth. This is not a new idea. It is not a concept created by modern investors. If you look closely, you will see that this same principle was already present in the tithe and offerings mentioned in the Bible. Many people think of tithing as just a religious act, but it has a powerful financial logic behind. When God established this principle, He was teaching something much greater than just giving back part of what you receive. Tithing is nothing more than a financial discipline that teaches reinvestment and circulation of resources. When someone separates part of their income and allocates it for a greater purpose, they are putting into practice one of the fundamental laws of multiplication. Great investors do exactly that. They don't consume all your profit. They don't spend everything they earn. They take a portion and reinvest it to generate more growth. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone make a lot of money and in a short time lose it all because they didn't know how to manage it? This happens because these people follow the path of immediate consumption, while billionaires follow the path of strategic reinvestment. If you look at the most successful companies in the world, you will see that they all follow this same rule. Amazon, Apple, Tesla, what do these giants have in common? They never stop reinvesting. They take their profits and apply them back to company growth, develop new products, expand markets. They don't hold money, they make money work for them. Think about how this directly connects to biblical teachings. In Proverbs 3:9-10, it is written, "Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of all your income, and your barns will be filled with abundance, and your presses will overflow with wine." Note that there is an action that precedes abundance. Honor God with goods and first fruits. This teaches us a clear principle. Abundance does not arrive before financial discipline. The rich know this and apply it in the world of investments. They understand that they cannot simply accumulate without purpose or consume uncontrollably. They know that for multiply wealth, it is necessary to put the money to circulate in an intelligent way. Now, let me ask you, what do you do with the money that comes into your hands? Do you use it all immediately or set aside some for multiplication? Are you just holding on, or are you putting it to work? This mindset makes all the difference between those who thrive and those who always struggle to survive. If you want to prosper, you need to start. Think and act like those who are already thriving. You need to stop just holding money and start understanding how to make it grow. And best of all, this principle works for anyone, regardless of starting value. You can start small, but if you follow this mindset, your money will start to multiply over time. To understand how to apply the principle of multiplication and reinvestment, imagine the following practical scenario. Let's say you have $1,000 available. Many people would leave this money sitting in their bank account or spend it on something immediate. But an intelligent investor who follows what the great billionaires and the Bible teach will look for ways to multiply this value. The first thing he does is don't spend that money impulsively. Instead, it follows a strategic growth process. Here's how this might work. Step 1. Create an active and passive source of income. With that $1,000, he could buy a small batch of goods for resale, something like perfumes, t-shirts, accessories, or any product in high demand. Suppose he buys products from $50 each and sell for $100. This means he can acquire 20 units, and when you sell them all, you will have $2,000, not final. He doubled his money. Step 2. Reinvest and expand. Now, instead of spending those $2,000 on something superfluous, he follows the principle of multiplication and reinvest part of the profit. He buys twice as many products and increases your customer base. This time, he sells 40 units and collect $4,000. Step 3. Smart diversification. The Bible teaches to diversify resources, and successful investors do this all the time. Now that he has $4,000, he can take $2,000 to stay in business and invest the other $2,000 in financial assets, such as investment funds, shares, or even low-risk cryptocurrencies, which can appreciate in value over time. Step 4. Create automatic income streams. Over time, the money invested begins to generate passive income. That is, you don't need to work actively to keep earning. Meanwhile, the business he started continues to grow because he hasn't consumed all he earned. He strategically reinvested. You might be thinking, does this really work for anyone? And the answer is, try. These principles are universal and timeless. They don't depend on luck, inheritance, or starting with a lot of money. In fact, the Bible teaches us that it is in the little that we are tested to be worthy of the much. The parable of the talents made this clear. God did not give riches randomly. He entrusted resources to each servant so that they could prove their ability to multiply, and those who were faithful in a little received even more. So it doesn't matter if today you only have $100, $1,000, or $10,000. What really makes a difference is, how do you use that money? If you spend everything on superfluous things, if you don't plan and multiply, your financial life you will always be stuck in the same cycle of scarcity. But if you apply the principles that billionaire investors apply, which in fact have been in the Bible for centuries, your financial reality will change completely. Maybe now you're wondering, what if I don't have any money to invest? This is a common objection, but let me tell you something. No one starts big. If you look at the world's biggest investors, you'll see that many started with nothing. Warren Buffett bought his first share with just 11 years old. Steve Jobs started Apple in his garage with no money. And if we look at the Bible, we see that Joseph of Egypt started out as a slave, but became the second most powerful man in the Egyptian empire. What did these people have in common? They used the resources they had at the time to grow and multiply. The Bible teaches something very powerful in Zechariah 4:10. Do not despise humble beginnings. God doesn't need you to have much to start. He just needs you to have the right mindset to multiply. If you don't have money to invest today, the solution is simple. Create an extra source of income. It could be selling something, providing a service, offering knowledge that you already have. But the most important thing is to understand that you need to get out of the scarcity mindset and into the growth mindset. Another common question that arises is, but is this compatible with faith? Many people grew up hearing that money is bad, that wealth is a sin, that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven. But do you know what few people say? Jesus talked more about money than about heaven and hell combined, because he knew that the way we deal with money reveals our character, our obedience, and our wisdom. The problem was never money. The problem is the love of money, is putting greed above principles, is forgetting that wealth must be multiplied to generate a positive impact and help other people. If wealth were a bad thing, God wouldn't have made it Solomon, the richest man in history, would not have prospered Abraham and Job, and would not have taught principles of financial management and investments throughout the Bible. At this point, you already understand that prosperity is not a matter of luck, but of strategy based on biblical principles. Only two choices remain: act or continue in the same place. You can leave this video and follow your routine as you always have, ignoring everything you learned, or you can decide change your mindset and start your journey to prosperity immediately. The decision is in your hands. The truth is that the secrets of wealth are not hidden. They have always been accessible to those who want to learn and apply. But do you know what happens to most people? They absorb this type of knowledge, find it interesting, perhaps even agree with everything that was said, but they do not take any action to change their reality. And the result? They remain trapped in the same cycle of scarcity, waiting for a financial miracle that never arrives. But right now, it's clear that big investors, Wall Street billionaires, and even the most prosperous characters in the Bible never expected wealth to fall from the sky. They applied principles that guaranteed growth, multiplication, and financial expansion. And if the intention is to reach this level of prosperity, it is necessary to make the same decision. Act intelligently and consistently. And most importantly, the secret is already here, but it only works for those who take action. If this knowledge is not put into practice, there is no point in knowing these truths. Knowledge without action is useless. So don't let this opportunity slip away. This is the perfect time to take a real step towards financial independence. And I want to see who is really committed to this transformation. If there is a firm decision to get out of the cycle of scarcity and start multiplying everything that God has already placed in your hands, write in the comments, "I believe in prosperity." It is essential to know who is willing to put these principles into action. And more than that, like this video immediately and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Surely there is someone close to you who is always struggling financially, who feels trapped in scarcity, and who has never been able to understand what separates the rich from the poor. Then send this video to that person right now. This may be exactly the information needed to change your mindset and start building wealth intelligently and based on solid principles. The time has come to reveal the specific biblical principle that Wall Street silently applies to generate fortunes, and the principle of multiplication and intelligent management of resources, taught in parable of the talents, Matthew 25:14-30. This teaching, when applied correctly, separates the rich from the poor, the successful investors of those who always live in a pinch. The parable tells the story of a master who entrusted different amounts of talents, the currency of the time, to 3 servants. 2 of them, they multiplied what they received, while the third, afraid of losing, buried his talent and did not generate any growth. In the end, those who multiplied were rewarded and received even more, while the one who hid the money lost everything. Now stop and think. What do the biggest investors do? They don't save money, they make money work for them. Wall Street billionaires like Warren Buffett apply exactly this concept. They multiply your resources by investing strategically, not leaving your money idle. Most people do exactly what the fearful servant did. They spend everything they earn or save unproductively without generating growth. Meanwhile, The rich invest their money, make smart investments, and create multiple sources of income, exactly as the Bible teaches. And here's the key that no one tells you. Money was made to be multiplied. If you want to prosper, you need to learn to use what you have in the right way. Invest and multiply your resources, instead of simply working for money without making it grow. Now that you know this, tell me here in the comments, have you been the servant who multiplies or the one who buries your talents? And if you want to learn how to apply this in practice, stay with me, because now I'm going to show you exactly how to put this principle into action in your life. The journey to financial prosperity, based on biblical principles, requires action and commitment. Throughout this video, a powerful secret was revealed that great investors silently apply to multiply their fortunes. This knowledge is not new. It was not created by Wall Street, and much less belongs only to a financial elite. It is accessible to everyone who decides to put biblical wisdom into practice and apply its principles in real life. The difference between those who prosper and those who continue to struggle financially is not in luck, but in their mentality and in the way they manage and multiply the resources they already have. The secret has been exposed, the strategy is clear, and the examples left by biblical characters such as Solomon, Joseph of Egypt, and other men of faith show that God always wanted his people to prosper. The Bible teaches that it is possible to overcome scarcity and build a solid path towards abundance through intelligence, strategy, and the correct application of the principles of multiplication. Wall Street investors apply these same teachings to their daily decisions, and those who understand this powerful code can transform their financial reality definitively. Many have already put this into practice and seen extraordinary changes. People who got out of debt and started generating income, professionals who transformed small investments into prosperous businesses, and families who finally achieved the financial peace of mind they always sought. These testimonies are living proof that biblical principles work and that the correct application of this knowledge can take anyone to a new level in life. This is the time to act, because those who make the decision to apply these teachings reap the fruits of prosperity. Lack of knowledge keeps many in financial stagnation, while some waste opportunities and believe that getting rich is something unattainable. Others use biblical wisdom to prosper. The difference between failure and success lies in the decision to follow this path and act in an intelligent, strategic, and persistent way. Consistent and disciplined action generates results, and those who understand this are not trapped in financial mediocrity, but rather build a solid and prosperous future. The multiplication of resources begins in the first step. Those who decide to put these principles into practice experience changes, whether by increasing their sources of income, learning to invest smartly, or creating new financial habits. What separates those who only dream of prosperity and those who truly achieve it is action. Knowledge has been revealed, and those who make decisions based on biblical wisdom move toward a future of abundance and financial stability. The path is paved, the code has been exposed, the secrets were revealed. Now is the time to get out of theory and put everything into practice. This week, a challenge was launched. Apply at least one of the principles taught in this video and observe the difference it can make in your financial life. Small changes generate big transformations. By making this decision, the journey towards prosperity begins, and the future begins to be shaped based on wisdom, strategy, and discipline. If this knowledge made sense, the next step is to delve even deeper and continue learning how the Bible teaches how to prosper. Learning cannot stop here. There are other valuable principles that can further accelerate this process, and for this, new content is available. To learn more about how to use biblical wisdom to strategically prosper and multiply resources, an upcoming video is ready for you to watch. Don't miss this opportunity, as this could be the missing step to completely transform your financial life. If you've made it this far, congratulations. This means you are committed to your financial transformation and are ready to apply the biblical principles that lead to true prosperity. But it's not enough to just know, you need to act. Knowledge without action does not generate change. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Subscribe to the channel right now and activate the bell so you don't miss any new videos. Here, I bring exclusive content that will help you grow, prosper, and multiply the resources that God has already placed in your hands. And if this video made sense to you, leave a like to strengthen this message and help more people discover these powerful teachings. And don't stop here. The next video is already appearing on the screen. Click now and continue your journey of learning and transformation. The more you learn, the more prepared you will be to apply all of this and achieve the financial freedom you have always wanted. Remember, prosperity is not a destiny, it is a decision. Take yours today and start multiplying everything God has already given you.